But joining us now is George Tsilis, senior markets correspondent, for some more insight on this. As George, you've now become somewhat of our unofficial rare earth correspondent here. We talk about these names a lot now, but we did get some positive commentary from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent over the weekend. So walk us through how that's playing out into these stocks now.
Well, I think, what we're seeing is some huge moves and a lot of volatility in the rare earth mining space. And it's it's obviously happening because rare earth materials are used as strengthening alloys for semiconductors, all types of other titanium materials that are used by Department of Defense. But at the same time, magnets are used from or produced from rare earths, and those are used in everything. And one of the things about rare earth materials is China doesn't control the total supply of the minerals themselves. They have about 70% global supply or market share, but they actually have about 90% of the processing for these materials for end products. And this has become a political sticking point with the Trump administration, which is now reindustrializing, for lack of a better word, the United States, including semiconductor manufacturing and all sorts of manufacturing, but they're really placing as an administration emphasis on securing rare earth materials and production and refining of them in the United States for security reasons. And again, this is a sticking point from China because they're looking at, reducing the exports to kind of get the negotiations rolling on other matters. Then there was also the aspects of, Trump really focusing on just, U.S. production, excluding China, perhaps with some tariffs or embargoes. So all else equal, the stock prices of a lot of these names moved significantly in the last 30 days. And this includes companies like USAR, which is U.S. Rare Earths, Energy Fuels, symbol UUUU. These were tremendous movers, but they've pulled back significantly, in many cases, about 50% of the entire move in the last 30 days, because if there's now some more favorable negotiations between China and the United States, that will open up the supply again globally, and that actually will depress prices globally in anticipation of that. That's why we're seeing a pullback in many of these names.
George, obviously rare earth material is kind of a misnomer because the actual availability isn't all that rare. It's the production and the mining of these products.
Yes.
That is. The U.S., as you mentioned, making a lot of investment and attempts to onshore some of that production. Good, bad, or somewhere in between outcomes with geopolitical negotiations probably doesn't change that. Could you make the case that these pullbacks are opportunities because there's still going to be a push into development here in the U.S.?
Well, here's the thing. So when I say pullback opportunities, you have to consider two factors. One is if you're trading headlines, that's a different story, or two. Second thing is, are you investing in fundamentals? And so what we're seeing with many of these names, which in many cases don't have revenues. For instance, USAR doesn't have any revenues to speak of, and it's had a tremendous move in the last 6 months and pulled back significantly in the last 5 days. MP Materials has revenues, and they're trading at around 50 times sales. But nonetheless, that stock has pulled back from the 90s down to the 60s. So again, you have to consider the headline trading aspects of these names. The ones that are high beta are the ones that don't have revenues. And again, these are areas that are underfunded from a capital investment standpoint. And anytime the Trump administration has brought forth efforts to say, hey, we're going to buy stakes in these companies or potentially buy stakes, we've seen these stocks move tremendously to the upside. Now, the DOD has an investment alongside MP Materials, which is why that stock has performed well. But my point is that now, if you're looking for an investment, you have to consider, or you should consider at the very least, or consider, stocks that do have fundamentals like revenues, are producing, already have approval for refining, versus those that have assets. Yeah, they're in the ground, but they may be stranded, and they may take some time to get out of the ground or recover those to essentially generate revenue. So my point is you'll notice in the last 5 days, you're seeing the high beta names, especially those that don't have much revenue to speak of or trading high price of sales, pull back significantly. Those may be in trouble, irrespective of what's going on with the administration or negotiations with China. But maybe MP Materials is something to look at because of the fact that they do have revenues, they're already producing, and they have, again, a partnership with the DOD already in terms of them taking a stake for defense purposes.
Yeah, and we'll leave it there, George, as we are unfortunately out of time today. So appreciate it for all of that help breaking down the moves we've seen in a lot of these minor